Trucking, got my chips cashed in, keep trucking, like the Doodah Man, together, more or less in line.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Neighborhood Training. As we finish up the town of Falmouth, we're going to work our way into Falmouth Heights area this week. We are going to take the Vineyard Sound side of the Heights and work on this area right in here in the front part, and then we're going to work on the back side of the Heights, this area here, next time around. But currently we're going to work from Jericho Path over to Little Pond, and then through the Falmouth Harbor side here. So we're going to cover this area here. Sure, people are aware of the layout there, but just some of the prominent features we will get into. We really need to work in this area up here, the on the top of the hill of Falmouth Heights here, and then all the courts and Aves that are on this section here of Falmouth Heights. And as you are probably already aware, one of the things we do need to remember is that Grand Ave starts here at the end of Falmouth Heights Road and then runs through here, and as it runs through, it changes all the it splits all the roads off here into courts and avenues. So the courts are always on the north side and the avenues are always on the south side of Grand Ave. And then Grand Ave starts here, and the numbering system starts here and comes all the way around this way here, so the higher numbers are right up in here as it meets back up with itself here. So that's one of the things we're going to be definitely going to be covering. And the kite park and the ball field, and as you can see here, pretty well congested in these areas up here. The houses are fairly close together. Over in here, they're still close together, but not too bad. It's also, this area also is identified by a lot of the older Victorian houses up here on the hill. Also, there have been quite a few condominium developments that have come up in the past few years. We won't necessarily name them all, but there's ones in Grand Ave. They have the in-season resort here, hotel. We have the condos here on Walden Ave. We have the condos here on Cul-de-sac and Gangway. And there are actually quite a few apartments that we'll also cover while we're in there. So we'll kind of look at the road network in that way. That's one of the things we kind of focus on and try to make some sense of what is going on up there. And we mentioned Jericho Path comes through and kind of gives us some of the access here. And remember here, now this is, as we mentioned before, the courts and the avenues. Well, also remember that Worcester Court gets cut off by Grand Ave right here, so it's Worcester Court all the way down where it terminates at the Jones Road and Davis Straits intersection. That's Worcester Court. From Grand Ave south, it's Worcester Avenue. And numbering system, as you'll see here, on Worcester Court actually starts here at Grand Ave. These are the low numbers here, and then they also start the low numbers going this way. So just something to be apprised of here. Alright, so now we have, as we go down Falmouth Heights Road, remember Little Rock comes through here and intersects with Central Park Court. Just like we mentioned before of Central Park Court, we have Central Park Avenue on the other side of Grand Ave. So that's usually one of the normal cut-throughs to the very center of the Heights is Central Park Ave and Court. So running right by the Baptist Church here and running right through. And off of that intersecting now we have Little Rock and Harbor Ave. In the center we have Eldona Ave, but we also have Mass Court and Pennsylvania Court. And as you'll see here, there's not any intersecting road. Mass Court has somewhat of a dirt intersecting road here, so you have Mass Ave and Mass Court. And you have Pennsylvania Ave and Pennsylvania Court, but you don't have an intersecting road through here. So I guess the reason I point that out is because when you are on Grand Ave and you think, oh well, I'll just connect up with Pennsylvania and either go left or right off of that. Well, we can't do that in this case here. For just about all the other roads we can. Mass Ave and Mass Court we can, but Pennsylvania we can't. Now off of Pennsylvania Court we have these little side streets here, Ginwall Street and Alpha Street. Okay, so Ginwall and Alpha, kind of rare that we would go out there, but there are potentially be places that people could call up, for us to respond in an emergency. So we also have, of course, the condominiums here, Cul-de-sac and Gangway, here by Harbor Ave. Now, I'll spend some time on these courts and Ave since we're right here. We'll take it west of Worcester Court and Worcester Avenue. And here we mentioned already, Central Park Ave comes right out here by the BBC. Mass Court and Mass Ave runs all the way down. Pennsylvania Ave cut off by the condos that were built here. Pennsylvania Court over here, and then Indiana Avenue. There's no Indiana Court. So, and then as we move down over on the east side of Worcester Avenue, we will see we have Montgomery Court and Ave, Hawthorne Court and Ave, Dartmouth Court and Ave, Amherst, because Amherst is also cut off by the condos that are here, and Elysian Ave, there's no Elysian Court because Jericho Path comes up and meets up with here. And then this section here is Grand Ave, and this is a one-way section of Grand Ave over in here. But as we see here, the numbers on Grand Ave, 71, 77, 95, 121, 147, 149, as they swing around this way here. So it goes this way here. Now, these houses here, as you can see, are fairly close together, so we do have a little bit of exposure problems with some of these houses here. So we do need to be aware of that and give some sort of protection to those houses. And then now we're going to concentrate a little bit on the hill area of Falmouth Heights. I want to get this area here, Central Park Ave, okay, and you have Grand Ave. This is the intersection here where Grand Ave, here's 456, 460 Grand Ave, 492, okay? And here are the low numbers that just start out on Grand Ave. So this is where it all intersects Grand Ave here, but the higher numbers are this way. So as we have Grand Ave, we have Crescent Ave and Echo, which are basically just cut-throughs. This Central Ave doesn't really exist here. Falmouth Heights Motel, Manchester Ave to Forest Ave, and Forest Ave often is the direct route up to Crown Ave. And we have Vesper and Sylvan Avenue, and these are obviously kind of tough areas to make the corner here, so you do have to be thinking ahead of time that these roads are very congested, and think about which way is the easiest way to get in there. And usually the easiest way is Tower House or Forest Ave. They come in here pretty straight, so usually the easiest way to get in, because once you get on Quinsigamond, it's hard to, you can go this way here, but it's hard to take a right-hand turn off of that. And the same thing with Wachusett, it gets real tight in Byron. So you have Crown Ave and Circular Ave. So Crown and Circular, Byron and Bellevue, Gertrude, Lookout Ave, Fairmount Ave, and Great Hill Avenue. And we can swing around here. In fact, these don't even exist here. Then we have Quinnipoxet and Walden, and there have been some condominiums built up. Well, of course, these are the condos here, and they also have new condos built up here. These are terrace gables, and these are, I forgot what the name of these ones here that overlooking the ball field. So Wachusett and Melrose and Vernon that come across here through Tower House. And then we have the short section of Clinton Ave. And remember that Clinton, this area here, did used to go through here. And when they cut the harbor in, they cut the road off. So just, be advised that the Tides Motel is 267 Clinton Ave, and that's the Clam Shack's 227. So we're going to have to go all the way around here to get to it. In Deacons Ave, running right along the harbor. Pretty straightforward. So, and then we have the timeshare condo is there, and this is better known in Falmouth as the Kite Field, and that's about all they allow people to do on there is fly kites. So we covered that. Now I want to point out a few of the pictures that we should be aware to kind of think about with Falmouth Heights. This is the Carpet Barn warehouse, and they store a lot of carpet in there, and they're in and out of there a lot. So it is a commercial occupancy there that is going to be very dangerous to deal with if we do have a fire, and that is located right here, number 11. So that's where that is. And we have this little Victorian here at the top of Crown Ave, right at the top. Just to give you some, as you can see here, these houses are fairly close together here. So these are obviously something we'd want to try and protect, but I also wanted to point out that a lot of them do have wood shingled roof. Some of them don't, but you can see we have wood shingle roof here. I don't think there's one over here, but those are things, if we have flying brands or debris coming from another fire, that we want to make sure we hose down these exposures up here so we don't lose those buildings as well. And take a look at this, just a straightforward typical house. Some of the Hawthorne Ave and that area down there. Just pretty straightforward. You know, nothing earth-shattering there of the size. And this house here, right here by Penn Ave on the corner of Grand Ave, if you drive by there and take a look at it, it actually looks like a garage, but it's a single-story brick structure that doesn't really even look more than 6 feet high. But there is this fenced-in yard, and it's broken up. It has 3 entry doors on it. So my guess is that it's an apartment. There are 3 units. You'd look at it, you think, oh, it's just a garage, but in actuality, it's a home for some folks. And so, you know, it's just one of the peculiar hazards for that area. And this here building here has been rebuilt and renovated, and to look at it, you'd think, oh, it's a single-family home. Same thing as over here. Obviously, it's pretty close to each other here. Actually, I think this might be on the old Lawrence's restaurant property in Nantucket Ave. But on closer inspection, we'll see 1, 2, and around here are 3 doors. 1, 2, and then over here is a 3rd garage. So this building here is divided up into 3 condominium units. So it's probably about a 5,000 or 6,000 square foot building, multi-family building, and to look at it you wouldn't think it was a condo, but indeed it is. So be aware. And finally we'll take a quick look at here. This is another building here. This is all block. This is right off of Grand Ave, 74. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there was, I counted 5 doors down here. So it's rather interesting to look at this building here. It's pretty well kept up, but on the other hand, it's all block, which is going to hold the heat in for us in any firefighting capacity, but also it presents us with a multi-family occupancy. Probably looks like something that was formerly a garage that they put a 2nd floor on and then put some apartments in there to house people in the heyday of Falmouth Heights. So now one other thing we need to also be aware of in Falmouth Heights is that the water flow in certain hydrants is not that great. Here we have 480 gallon minute hydrant and a 1,500 gallon a minute hydrant here, and a 1,000 gallon a minute hydrant. And there are a fair amount of red hydrants on there, and this is one of them. It says 0, but I'm sure the flow is a little bit more than that. But 580, 980, 950, 710. So we just need to look at that and grab the best hydrant we can possibly have to help us fight a fire. There are hydrants, there are pipes throughout the entire Heights area, which is a good thing. As we see here, there's no roads without pipes. Right in here, the Heights looks pretty fairly well covered with hydrant systems and fairly close together. We just have to be aware that some of them are not as good as others. Alright, now we will just do a quick review of what we've already covered. Now this is also important to know because this Heights area is a little over a mile from headquarters station, so we should be able to get there within 3 minutes. Station 5 is 4 miles away, so they're going to be probably about 9 minutes away. And Station 2 is 4.5, which is by about 10 minutes. And Station 4 is 5.1 miles. So that's about 10 minutes. So the bottom line of that is that headquarters personnel are going to get in there at about 3 minutes, and then your next arriving engine isn't going to get there till about 9 minutes. So 6 minutes or more, you're going to be operating on your own. All right, so we have the heights, predominantly wood frame, single-family dwellings, our most hazardous occupancy for firefighters. We do have also a mix of commercial all along Falmouth Heights, and also the wood frame multifamily dwellings we've been talking about. 1800s Victorians, many of them are close together, tight roads. Many of the hydrants are low flow and low pressure. Look out for the red hydrants. Try to pick the best hydrant you can. Hazards, we mentioned single family, multifamily. There's hotels, illegal and legal apartments. We have the Carpet Barn Warehouse, McDougal's. We have boats, the harbors, also a conflagration hazard in the heights. Hopefully we won't have it, but if we have a good stiff wind come off of the water, or one of our southwesterlies, and we get one of those houses going at the top of the hill, we could certainly have 3 or 4 or 5, 6 houses going. So, all right, remember the courts and the Aves are split by Grand Ave on the low number side, and on the west side of Worcester, Court and Ave, we have Little Rock, Eldona, Harbor Ave, Deacons Ave, Cul-de-sac Gameway, Nantucket, Central Park Ave in Court, Mass Ave off of Penn Ave. We have Ginwall and Alpha Street. In Indiana, there's no Indiana Court. Neither is there a Penn. No, there's Penn Ave and Penn Court. There's no Indiana Court. But remember, there was no connection from Grand Ave to Penn Ave. And top of the hill, we have Crown Ave, Circular Ave, Lookout Ave, Fairmount, Byron, Forest, Gertrude, Hope, Great Hill, Quinnipoxet, Walden, Chapel Park, Manchester, Quinsigamon, Wachusett, Vernon, Melrose, Wyoming, Tower House, and remember that Tower House, and what did we say was our other one that, Forest Ave and Tower House Ave are our best ones to getting in from there. And where we go? Here we go. And then the east side of Worcester, we have Montgomery, Hawthorne, Dartmouth, and Amherst and Elysian. Now these have their courts and Aves on that side, and then we have Elysian Ave, that is the predominant cut through from Jericho over to Graham, and we have that other section of Grand Ave is the one way. So that wraps up this week's edition of Neighborhood Training on the south side of Falmouth Heights, and I hope that was some help to you in making sense of some of the road networks out there and some of the hazards that exist in that area of Falmouth. All right, till we have another edition, stay safe and eat healthy.